Your gutters could be causing $30,000 worth of damage to your home right now, and you don't even know it. I've seen homeowners spend $30,000 on roof and foundation repairs that could have been prevented with just a little bit of gutter maintenance. In my 20 years as a roofing contractor here in New Jersey, the most expensive mistakes I see aren't from bad storms or old age. They're from homeowners who simply didn't know how to spot the warning signs of clogged gutters. And here's what's scary. Most homeowners think their gutters are fine until water is literally pouring into their living room. By then, the damage is already done. Today, I'm going to show you the exact warning signs that I look for when inspecting a home so you can catch gutter problems before they turn into major disasters. Think of this as your early warning system. This is the same checklist I use to protect my clients' homes. Because here's the thing, your gutters aren't just about moving water. They're a line of defense for your entire home's structural integrity. When they fail, everything else starts to fail too. The standing water test, your first red flag. Here's what you need to know. The first telltale sign is standing water in your gutters. But here's what most homeowners don't realize. You don't need to climb a ladder to spot this. Let me explain exactly how this works. Think of your gutters like the drainage system on a highway. Just as highway drains are designed to channel water away quickly during a storm, your gutters should be constantly moving water towards your downspouts. When they're working properly, water flows smoothly to the drainage points. There's never any pooling or standing water. But when debris blocks the flow, water pools and sits there, just like a traffic jam during rush hour. This is important because standing water in your gutters isn't just sitting there harmlessly. That stagnant water becomes a breeding ground for mosquitoes. And I'm not talking about just a few. According to research, standing water in clogged gutters provides perfect breeding conditions for mosquitoes that can carry diseases like the West Nile virus that we've been hearing about lately in New Jersey. But that's not even the worst part. That water is also slowly rotting your fascia boards. That's the wood that your gutters are attached to. I've been doing this for over 2 decades, and I can often spot standing water problems from the ground just by looking at the gutter line during or right after a rainstorm. You'll see water sitting in sections where it should be flowing. Sometimes you'll even notice the gutter sagging slightly in certain spots. That's the weight of standing water pulling on your gutter system. In severe cases, I've seen gutters holding so much water that they actually pull away from the house entirely, especially if it is cold outside and that water freezes and turns to ice. Here's exactly how to check for this yourself. Wait for a light rain. It doesn't need to be a downpour, just a steady light rain. Now check your gutters. If you see water sitting still in any section instead of moving toward the downspouts, then you've got a blockage somewhere in that section. Make a mental note of where these problem areas are, because that's where you'll need to focus your maintenance efforts. The key thing to understand is that this standing water problem compounds quickly. What starts as a small pool of water can turn into hundreds of pounds of weight pulling on your gutter system. That weight doesn't just damage the gutters themselves, it can actually damage your fascia boards as the weight of the water pulls the gutters down and away from your house. The overflow pattern, when your gutters become waterfalls. Another sign is your gutters overflowing during rainfalls. But here's the key, and this is something most homeowners miss. It's not just about heavy rain. If your gutters overflow during moderate rainfall, that's a serious red flag that needs immediate attention. Let me explain what's actually happening when your gutters overflow. When gutters can't handle the water volume, that water has to go somewhere. It doesn't just disappear. It's going to cascade down your siding, pool around your foundation, and potentially seep under your roof shingles. This is where the real damage starts. And it happens faster than most people realize. I recently inspected a home in Bergen County where the homeowner thought their overflow problem was just because of heavy storms. They kept putting off the maintenance, thinking it wasn't urgent. When I got up on the roof, I discovered that the overflow had been pushing water up under their shingles for a long time. The water had rotted through the roof decking. That's the wood under your shingles. And it was even starting to damage the rafters. What could have been an inexpensive gutter cleaning turned into an $8,000 partial roof replacement, plus another $5,000 in foundation repairs because all that overflowing water had been pooling around their foundation, causing cracks and shifting for a very long time. Here's what this means for you specifically. Every time your gutters overflow, you're essentially turning your home's exterior into a waterfall system that was never designed to handle that volume of water. When such a heavy volume of water constantly runs down your siding, it finds every tiny gap, every nail hole, every seam, and starts working its way inside your walls. Once water gets inside your wall cavity, you're looking at potential mold growth, insulation damage, and structural rot that can cost tens of thousands to repair. The prevention strategy here is actually quite simple, but it requires consistency. Regular gutter cleaning and inspection can catch these issues before they become expensive problems. I recommend to all my clients that they check their gutters during the next moderate rainfall, not a storm, just a regular rain shower. If you see any overflow at all during moderate rain, that's your signal that maintenance is due. Don't wait for the next heavy storm to see if it gets worse. By then, damage is already occurring. And if you're in the New Jersey area and want a comprehensive roof and gutter assessment to catch these problems before they become major expenses, I'll put a link in the description below where you can schedule a professional inspection. The hidden downspout problem, where most DIY efforts fail. Here's something most homeowners miss completely. If you clean out your gutters and the problem persists, the obstruction is most likely in your downspouts. This is where I see a lot of DIY efforts fail, and it's actually more common than gutter clogs themselves. Let me tell you about a situation I encountered just last month. A homeowner in Middlesex County called me because they'd cleaned their gutters 3 times, but still had overflow problems. They were frustrated, thinking maybe their gutters were too small or improperly installed. When I arrived, I did a simple test. I ran water through the gutters with a hose. The gutters were spotless, but the water backed up immediately. The problem? Their downspouts were completely packed with compressed leaves and debris that had turned into what I call nature's concrete, a solid mass that no amount of hosing could clear. Downspouts can get packed with debris that's not visible from the gutter level. Leaves, twigs, and I've even found tennis balls, toys, and bird nests, creating complete blockages. These blockages force water to back up into your gutter system, essentially turning your entire gutter into a swimming pool. Think about it. If your downspout is blocked, where does all that water go? It has nowhere to drain, so it just sits there, accumulating more and more weight with each rainfall. Here's the technical detail most people don't understand. A blocked downspout doesn't just stop water flow. It creates tremendous pressure on your entire gutter system. Water weighs about 8 pounds per gallon. A typical 20-foot section of gutter can hold about 15 gallons when full. That's 120 pounds of weight pulling on your gutter brackets. Now multiply that across your entire home, and you can see why gutters pull away from houses. I've seen entire gutter systems collapse because of blocked downspouts that homeowners didn't even know about. The first step to solving this problem is to clean out your gutters completely, and I mean completely. Every bit of debris needs to be removed. But if water still isn't flowing properly after a thorough cleaning, you need to check those downspouts. Sometimes a garden hose from the bottom can clear minor blockages, but severe blockages often need professional attention. We use specialized equipment like motorized augers. Think of them like plumbing stakes specifically designed for downspouts to break through those compressed blockages. Here's why this matters for your home's long-term protection. A blocked downspout essentially turns your entire gutter system into a liability rather than an asset. All that water weight can actually pull gutters away from your house, creating gaps where water can get behind the gutters and rot your fascia boards. Once these boards start rotting, you're not just looking at gutter replacement, you're looking at carpentry work, potential soffit replacement, and possibly even structural repairs if the rot spreads to your roof rafters. The cascading damage pattern, why small problems become big disasters. Clogged gutters can be a bigger problem than most people realize. It's not just about the gutters themselves, it's about the domino effect that they create throughout your entire home. Let me explain exactly how this cascade of damage unfolds, because understanding this pattern could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Here's what happens when your gutters fail. Clogged gutters that are overflowing can cause rainwater to be pushed up under your roof shingles. The water finds the path of least resistance, which is often up and under your roof's edge. This water then damages the exterior fascia and soffit on your home. These are the boards that run along your roof's edge and the underside of your roof overhang. But here's where it gets really serious. In some cases, clogged gutters can even cause leaks inside your home. That water that got under your shingles, it's now in your attic, soaking your insulation, which loses its R value when wet, meaning your energy bills are about to go up. The water then seeps through your ceiling, potentially damaging your ceilings, floors, and walls. I've walked into many homes where the homeowner thought they had a roof leak, but it was actually a gutter problem. The most extreme consequence I see? Clogged gutters causing basement flooding during heavy rainfalls. Think about it. All that overflowing water has to go somewhere, and gravity pulls it straight down to your foundation. Your foundation isn't designed to handle concentrated water flow. It's designed to handle evenly distributed groundwater. When gutters dump water right next to your foundation, it creates hydrostatic pressure that forces water through any tiny crack or gap in your foundation walls. Then there's a mold issue. Mold is a silent but severe danger that can be associated with clogged gutters. When gutters overflow, water can seep into your home's walls and foundation, creating a moist environment conducive to mold growth. Mold remediation can cost thousands of dollars, depending on the extent of the problem, and that's not even counting the health issues it can cause for your family. The prevention system, your long-term protection strategy. Here's how I recommend my clients think about gutter maintenance. It's not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing protection system for your home. And when you understand this, you'll never look at your gutters the same way again. Think of regular gutter maintenance like changing the oil in your car. You wouldn't drive 50,000 miles without an oil change and then wonder why your engine failed, right? It's the same principle with your gutters. It's a small investment that prevents major mechanical failures. In this case, it's protecting your roof, foundation, and interior from water damage that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Let me share my professional approach to gutter maintenance, the same system I've been recommending to New Jersey homeowners for over 2 decades. Spring cleaning is essential because it removes winter debris and checks for ice damage. Ice can cause gutters to expand and contract, loosening brackets and creating gaps. Fall cleaning is equally important because it prepares your system for winter weather and removes leaves before they become that compressed mass that I mentioned earlier. Here's what most homeowners don't realize about seasonal maintenance. In spring, you're not just cleaning, you're inspecting for damage that winter may have caused. Ice formation can crack gutter seams, loosen hangers, and even punch holes through the bottom of your gutters. If you catch these issues in spring, a simple seal or bracket replacement might cost $50. If you wait until fall, that small crack has allowed water to rot your fascia board all summer. And now you're looking at more extensive repairs. The investment perspective is crucial here. Quality materials and proper installation aren't expenses. They're investments in your home's protection. I've seen homeowners try to save money with cheap gutters that can fail in just a few years. Those aren't saving you money. They're costing you more in the long run. A properly installed gutter system with quality materials should last 20 to 30 years with proper maintenance. Here's my specific recommendation for New Jersey homeowners. Based on our climate and typical tree coverage, inspect your gutters at least twice a year, once in late spring after the pollen season, and once in late fall after the leaves have dropped. If you have pine trees or other evergreens near your home, you might need quarterly cleanings because pine needles can create blockages year-round. During your inspection, look for standing water. Check that water flows freely through downspouts and ensure all brackets are secure. Watch for any signs of rust or corrosion. When you need repairs or replacements, invest in quality materials and proper installation. This means seamless gutters when possible, heavy gauge materials that can handle snow loads, and a proper slope for drainage that's a 1/4-inch drop for every 10 feet of gutter, and adequate downspouts for your roof area. The general rule is 1 downspout for every 30 to 40 feet of gutter, but homes with larger roof areas might need more. So let's recap what we've covered today. The warning signs of clogged gutters are standing water, overflow during moderate rain, and persistent problems even after cleaning, which usually means downspout blockages. But remember, this isn't just about gutters, it's about protecting your entire home. When you catch these problems early, you're preventing thousands of dollars in roof, foundation, and interior damage. Now you have the same checklist that I use when I inspect homes. You can spot these problems before they become expensive disasters. The key is taking action before small issues cascade into major repairs. Now that you understand how to identify gutter problems, you need to know when it's time to address your roof itself. Because here's the truth. Your gutters and roof work together as one system. If one fails, the other usually follows. In my next video, I'll show you the 5 warning signs that your roof needs immediate attention, signs that most homeowners miss until it's too late. These are the same indicators insurance adjusters look for, and knowing them could save you from a denied claim. Because protecting your home is about more than just fixing problems. It's about preventing them in the first place.